Hey everybody, welcome to my little yoga video. Today's sequence is a practice that will help you develop a really strong core, and a core that you're really connected to and aware of as well. So lie down on your mat and bend your knees. Place your hands over your belly. Take a few deep breaths, breathing in and down into the space of your abdomen. Let it rise up into your hands. And breathing out, let your belly fall. And just repeat that a few times, just tuning in to your own center. And then the first exercise we're going to explore here, I'm going to have you take your hands, palms down, and snug your hands underneath your hips. So you're kind of sitting on your hands. And then lift and draw your knees in towards your chest. And if possible, straighten your legs out all the way. And I'd like you to just start to slowly, as you breathe out, extend one leg towards the floor and then the other. And just alternate back and forth. And you can do this rather slow initially here, just feeling the connection of your legs into your center. Now your hands are going to help keep your pelvis somewhat in place here, but you can also focus on pressing the back of your pelvis down and also keeping your low back moving towards your mat as well. If this ever gets to be too much for you, you can do this with bent knees instead. Great. Now go ahead and bend both knees. And you're going to slowly begin to lower your toes to tap the floor and then draw the knees back into the chest. Again, really simple exercise, really slow exercise. Just do this a few times. What we're looking for is how can you stabilize your pelvis as you move your legs right now. So you might think of keeping the tailbone lifting up towards your pubic bones as you lower the toes towards the floor. And this just starts to turn different muscles on that we want to get in touch with. Now release that. Take your hands behind your head. Interlace your fingers. Take a full breath, breathing in. And as you exhale, curl up, drawing everything in, doing a little abdominal crunch. And then as you breathe in, lower your elbows all the way back down to the floor and your feet all the way to the floor. And repeat that. So each time you breathe out, you're going to draw everything in, elbows to the knees. And then when you inhale, everything releases down. Feet touch the floor, elbows touch the floor. See if you can make that happen at the same time. Elbows and feet landing simultaneously. When you curl up to the top, really squeeze in, really let yourself feel the squeeze. And then at the top here, do some pulsations. So instead of lowering all the way down, just start to pulse in. And you'll take a little bit shorter breaths here, just breathing out each time you pulse in without lowering the elbows and feet to the floor. Great. Do one more of those and then rest back on the floor, feet down, elbows down. And release your arms alongside your body. Draw the knees into your chest and rock and roll yourself all the way up. So now we're going to come into a side plank, a low side plank, so you'll be on your forearm and your elbow. And you can watch me here as I work my way up into it, making sure as you lift your hips that your shoulder is stacked over your elbow. And then we'll do a few little movements here to really get those obliques activated. So as you breathe in, you're going to sweep your top arm over, stretching your side body. And then as you exhale, try to lower your hips a little bit towards the floor. And then you inhale, push through your forearm, lift the hips, reach the top arm over, creating a nice side bend and opening. And then exhale to lower. So just a few times of that. Roll over onto your belly. And we'll do a low plank here as well. So line up your elbows right underneath your shoulders. You can interlace your fingers if you'd like. And then begin to lift your belly and your legs. keeping those toes tucked. So firm your thighs, your glutes. You can put like a little imaginary marble in your belly button, squeeze it and lift it up into the body, and look at your fingers. If this is too much for you, just drop your knees, but keep the belly lifted and breathe deeply. You should start to feel a little heat building through your center. Nice job. Exhale, release. Maybe take a little Sphinx pose, just opening your chest. And then roll over onto your opposite side and get yourself up in position, elbow stacking right underneath your shoulder. Stretch your top arm up towards the ceiling. And then begin to do that side bending motion. So you're going to reach your top arm up and over, lifting your hips high to stretch into a side bend, and then lower your hips as far as you can comfortably, keeping the legs really active. Think about squeezing your outer thighs towards your inner thighs. So do this with the breath several times. And then breathing out to release, and find your way back to your belly. Take a little opening for your belly and chest and Sphinx. And then you can curl yourself all the way up, move through an up dog, take a little deeper stretch for the belly, and then slowly releasing all the way back through child's pose. And just relax here for a moment. Few breaths. Notice how you're feeling, right? Usually after just a little bit of core work that's mindfully done, your attention and your awareness drops in to your body more easily. So rise up onto your hands and knees here now. Come into tabletop position, lining up your hands right underneath your shoulders. And we're going to start to do a little bit of cat-cow. And you can exhale, round your spine. Inhale, arch your back, extend your spine. But I really invite you to be more explorative here and start to circle out your spine and go with what feels really good. Wake up all of the muscles that run along your core. Great. Just a couple more breaths with that. At the same time that you're waking up your muscles here, you're also waking up your organs, your inner organs, which love to receive some attention and be massaged with this movement. So work your way back to neutral. Breathe out, work your way back to neutral. Tuck your toes and find your way up into down dog. And warm up your down dog a little bit. We're going to take a leg lift here in down dog. So when you're ready, breathe in and lift your right leg up. And if you'd like, bend your knee. Really allow the hip to open, the thigh to open. And then we're going to level out the hips and begin to do a few little upside down crunches here. So as you exhale, pull your right knee into your nose to your knee, and then you'll inhale, reach back. Exhale, draw the knee in, curling the belly up, and inhale back. Repeat this, find kind of a pulse and rhythm that works for you. And then go ahead and release your right foot back to the floor. Take a breath in, come forward into plank. Exhaling chaturanga, breathing into your up dog, stretch your belly out. And all the way back to down dog, side two. So if you need a break in between, if you need to stretch out your wrist, you can just drop to child's pose and take a little break. And then we'll switch sides. You can lift your left leg up nice and high. And again, start off by opening the hip a little bit here. The thigh, bend the knee if you'd like. Point or flex your toes. And then extend that leg up nice and straight. And as you exhale, curl the knee into the nose. And you'll inhale, reach the leg back. And exhale, draw the knee in. And it's great if you can create a little bit of like a pulsation, because that will really stimulate the flow of fluids through your organs and give you a nice detoxification for your inner body. And then release, and then come into plank pose, And lower your right elbow to the floor and then your left elbow to the floor so you're in a low plank position here. Remember, you can drop your knees if you need to. Otherwise, focus on pressing your tailbone down as you lift the fronts of your thighs up. Feel your lower belly activated, thighs turned on, glutes turned on, elbows pressing down with the chest lifting. So reverse your way out of that now. Press the right palm down, press the left palm down, find plank pose, press into down dog, and then release yourself into child's pose. Take a couple breaths. Again, check in and notice how you're feeling. Are you more centered? Is there warmth building inside yourself? Again, that is nice for detoxing the system. So come on up to your elbows now, onto your forearms. And we're going to do some little crunches here as well. So as you breathe in, you're going to look towards your fingers. As you exhale, you're going to draw the nose to the knee, picking up one leg. And you're going to alternate back and forth. So again, with this movement, create more of a pulsation-like sense if you can. And really curl in. Feel the depth of that movement and the intensity when you activate all of those muscles through the core. Each time you inhale, you get to open up a little bit and stretch out, and then you exhale, curl in, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Feeling the belly, the chest, everything working. Great. And then back to child's pose, couple breaths. And then from child's pose, you can come on back up to hands and knees. Stretch back through your down dog. Take a breath forward into plank and lower yourself down, this time all the way to your belly. Dhanurasana, bow pose. So reach your arms back, bend your knees, and grab your ankles or your feet. If this doesn't work for you, keep your legs stretched out straight. No big deal. We're going to pulse up and down. So as you inhale, lift your chest up as high as possible by kicking your feet away. And then as you exhale, allow things to release. A couple more times, kicking the feet back, drawing the chest way up, and releasing down. This massages your belly, obviously, opens up the chest, and stretches those muscles that we've been working. Great, let that go. And we're going to come back onto our side. So a repeat of that low side plank. Line up your elbow underneath your shoulder. See if you can get your legs to stack, lifting your hips up. If this is too much, you can always keep the top, take the top foot, the foot of the top leg to the floor. Extend your top arm straight up. Look up if you can. Few deep breaths. And letting a little bit of a pulsing come through here as well. So you're just pushing through the elbow and trying to lift your hips up. This is a little different than the last variation. These are little pulses. So you just lift your hips up and let them drop a few inches. It's a great way to tonify those side muscles. Right? Tonify your love handles. Release down and roll to side two. Same thing. Build up your low plank pose here. I like to make a fist with the hand on the floor. That feels more stable to me. Make yourself really still. Squeeze your outer hips and thighs in towards your inner hips and thighs. Gaze up if you can. And then again, add that little pulsing action here. Maybe take 5 to 10 little pulses where you just push through your elbow and forearm and lift the hips and the side body a few inches and lower. Doesn't have to be a huge movement for this to be effective. All right, release. Roll back over to your belly. And let's breathe into cobra pose, curling up. Yeah, open your chest, stretch your belly muscles, the front of your pelvis. Reach your toes really long behind you. And then slide your hands back. Come down, slide your hands back, tuck your toes, and I want you to try to press all the way up into plank pose. So when you do that, it's a great idea to think of lifting your belly first. And then if you need to, drop your knees here and take 5 yogi push-ups. So your elbows are pointing back in space. And then relax. Yeah, push-ups are a great way to turn on the core for sure, but they also get those arms involved. So from child's pose, I want you to slide your hands back alongside your ears, and we're going to do something called what I call a spinal push. So you just lift your hips and roll forward onto the crown of your head. Use your inhale to take you forward, and then as you exhale, let your hips release all the way back and down. Do this slowly so that you can really feel your core turning on. This exercise centers you, not just physically, but mentally and energetically. All right, so back to child's pose. Take a couple breaths, relax, and then you can rise up to your hands and knees again and come around to have a seat on your mat and roll down through your spine. Hopefully you are feeling great. We're not moving at too quick of a pace so that you can really drop into each exercise. So for this next one, you're going to want to stretch your arms overhead, and you might want to actually interlace your fingers, and you can just let your index fingers reach out. Stretch long through your legs. And then when you breathe out, you're going to draw one leg up and lift your arms and your torso, twisting so that your arms stretch to the outside of the leg. And then as you can see here, I'm moving at a fairly good pace. And the movements have a sharpness to them. So when you breathe out, you're lifting up a little bit quicker than some of the other exercises required of you and twisting. If lifting the legs in this straight position feels like too much, bend your knees, place your feet on the floor, and just draw the knee up one at a time. Great. Take your last one and then release. And then take your time drawing your knees in towards your chest. And we're going to just rock and roll a few times. So rocking back and rocking forward. Another really simple core exercise, but you'd be surprised at how the core has to turn on with this rocking motion. And you get a nice massage for your back. A few times of that rocking and rolling, and then take one or two more of those, and then I'm going to have you rock yourself right up so that you are sitting on your mat. Press your palms down alongside your hips and try to lift your knees, squeezing them up in towards your torso. Try to lift your feet and then press through the hands and see if you can lift your bum off the floor. Do this about 3 to 5 times. And if it's really hard to lift everything off the floor, try just the knees and the feet. And then if you need to, place your tiptoes on the floor and just lift your bum. And then relax and sit cross-legged, nice and tall. Take a breath in, lift your arms up overhead. And we're going to do a little twisting action here. So as you exhale, twist to the right and let your arms float out to the sides and down, one in front, one in back. And then start to find a little bit of a quicker pace here. Your belly is strong. The bulk of the twist is happening through your rib cage and your upper back. And let your neck and your gaze turn in the direction that you're twisting. If you need to, take it slow. No big deal. But if you can amp it up a little bit, this is a great way to energize your system. Kind of clears out toxicity in the kidney area, the low back. Great. So after you've completed that, you're going to breathe in and then exhale, bend your elbows. Line up your elbows with your shoulders like goalpost arms. And then begin to twist from side to side. I call this the tick-tock. Right? So you're just, again, move at the pace that feels good for you. belly is somewhat active and strong here, stabilizing you a little bit as you create this twisting action. The breath can be quite active here as well, so you're inhaling, exhaling, depending on the pace of your twisting motion, depending on the pace of your little tick-tock. Good. Slow that down and bring yourself back to center. Take your hands behind you, take your feet to the floor, spread your fingers wide, open up your chest, roll the shoulders back, open up your chest, breathe in, look up. Exhale, pull the knees in, and try to rest your forehead against your knees. And then inhale, toes to the floor, open chest. Exhale, curl in. Inhaling, the chest opens. Exhaling, you curl in. You can make this more intense by releasing the legs out as you inhale. And you could do one leg at a time or both legs, which take you through a Navasana or boat pose looking position. So do that a few times. Again, we're looking not just at muscular effort, but a pulsation that helps to tonify your inner organs and detox them. Now press your feet down and your hands down and lift your hips up high and just let your belly stretch a little bit. Full breath in. And then exhaling, come back to your easy cross-legged position. And slowly fold forward over your legs and just relax. Just relax and breathe. You just did an awesome practice to strengthen your core, tonify your organs, detoxify your center. And that's on all levels. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You just cleared out a lot. And from here, if you'd like, you can just come on up from your forward fold, lie down on your back, bring the soles of your feet together, let your knees fall out to the side, rest your hands over your belly again, and take a few of those deep belly breaths that we started with. I hope you are feeling great from that practice. It was fun to have you join me, and I look forward to practicing with you again in the near future. Have a great day. Namaste.